It's good to be back. Coming up on the show this Monday, with the clock ticking on the June 30th deadline set by anti-migrant groups, will peace prevail as marchers take to the streets this Tuesday? And with so many foreigners queuing up in Durban to somehow find a way home, what happens then when this cutoff comes and goes? We try and make sense of it all with our KwaZulu-Natal-based journalist Sakhiseni Nxumalo, who witnessed chaos unfold in Pietermaritzburg following a recent anti-migrant march.
This is just a start. If those who did not meet the June 30 deadline and are still in the country, they are still going to, as March and also Mphakelelo Mthakathi and Ngizwe, are still going to continue, I guess, maybe come up with another date. But we're not sure at this point at the moment. But he had came out and said there's going to be a part 2 of this. They're not stopping. They're going to continue with their call, and in fact now they're going to intensify it.
Later, crime intelligence boss Feroz Khan survives an apparent attempt on his life. And on this day in SA history, an apartheid-era opposition coalition was formed in 1977, only to turn out to be an election flop. Remember this, Roby's Pointless Braai Quiz? Well, our question for today, if you can get it right, is what's the name of the Gqeberha prison in which its wardens recently found a chicken coup drug smuggling operation? I'll give you that answer at the end of the show. My name's Graham Robenheimer. This is The Lead, and this is The South African Story. Moving to our top story today, well, you could say it's the calm before the supposed storm. Or will it be all largely peaceful? Well, the March and March's June 30th deadline for all illegal migrants to vacate South Africa is here, while police reiterate the call that any xenophobic violence will be met with the full might of the law. Well, now, one man who surveyed the rising and often dangerous anti-migrant attitudes in the run-up to this week is our KwaZulu-Natal-based journalist Sakhiseni Nxumalo. He's live with us now. Sakhiseni, I hope you're doing well. How are you doing this Monday?
I'm good, Graham. Thank you so much for having me, and also hello to your listeners as well.
Absolutely. We haven't had a lead episode in a really long time, so you are doing us big favors here. We're back on air, and it's great to be back with all the listeners. Let's get to the nub of the issue at the moment. You know, what do we know about what is planned for tomorrow in KwaZulu-Natal specifically? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Sakhiseni. KwaZulu-Natal seems to be the, you know, for the lack of a better word, the epicenter of the March and March movement, and the various organizations that have thrown their support behind this migrant sentiment. And I've seen there's been a lot of also discourse over the weekend with many of these supporters at pains to say their movement's about anti-illegal migrancy and not just anti-migrants. But I think there has been a big sort of blurring of lines there when it comes down to it. Hey.
Yeah, no, obviously this deadline, obviously now the big talking point is a deadline of 30 June. And I think for us to understand the deadline itself, you have to go back to when it started, to come out. Who came up with it and when. So we understand that the date initially was not brought forward by March and March leader Jacinta Ngobese. I think for her, she just caught the wave and then she ride it. The person that initially came with the date is Mphakelelo Mthakathi and Ndaba. We understand Mphakelelo Mthakathi is from Umtsizwa, and he mentioned the dates last year that all undocumented foreign nationals must leave the country before 30th of June. So from there, obviously, with him and also Ngizwe Mchunu, as well as Jacinta, have been marching together in these marches, is then fall under the whole umbrella of March and March, of which Jacinta Jacinta from March and March have been coming out saying the date is not with the March and March. They are also Ngizwe and Mphakelelo Mthakathi are not part of March and March. But obviously now we are here, and we understand that she's also been in support of 30 June, and this whole thing of them being from KZN, all three of them from KZN, March and March from KZN, with Jacinta from Durban and Ngizwe from Kandla, as well as Mphakelelo Mthakathi from Nongoma. So they're all from KZN, and then obviously it has to be KZN is now a focal point, is now the epicenter of this so-called deadline and all these matches that are taking place. And obviously they started here in KZN, but now we're seeing them all over the country as well.
There's been a very, if you see some of the pictures that News 24 has been carrying, a lot of the videos, you see the Zulu Amabuto, leading a lot of these marches. A lot of these gents are, in full, Zulu traditional attire. There seems to be, because a lot of the words that are being used by various politicians on various sides of the spectrum are calling this, some sort of Zulu nationalism / populist sort of movement, that it has carried some of those hallmarks. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here. What is it? You've been on the ground. You've seen it. Does it carry those hallmarks? Is it overtly Zulu nationalist, or is that sort of a political obfuscation of this movement that we're seeing, growing?
I think it's a bit of both. Obviously, on the ground, we will see a lot of people carrying amahau, some sticks as well, amahau, the shield. And obviously, the song that are being sang during these matches are Zulu, and they also chanting Zulu everywhere. They also don't want to be addressed in English. I mean, it's all Zulu. Even the attire that they're wearing is all Zulu. So one could associate whatever this match is to Zulu, but obviously the leaders have come out and saying, no, this is not a Zulu issue. They also stated that they don't want to tribalize this thing of march and march, because we've seen even in Mpumalanga where people are marching, but it just it does go with that shadow of some sort of being associated with just being a Zulu thing, that Zulus do not want undocumented foreign nationals. It's just associated with a Zulu thing. But the leaders have come out to say this is not about Zulu. This is not a tribal only one tribal issue. It's a national issue. Just that even the king as well as the prime minister also went on to say it's concerning that Zulu amabutho are found in the forefront, and went on to say amabutho must not be used by people. That's what he said, who want to benefit in a certain way, or want to achieve certain goals that they're not aware of. So amabutho must not be used, of which in return the 30th of June leader Phakile Mthakathi came out and say this is not about amabutho. This is just men who are saying this is what they want in terms of undocumented foreigners to leave the country. So there has been that topic around amabutho being in the forefront, and it has been an issue, and also continuing even worse tomorrow, because you find that a lot of hostels will be there, and once you have hostels in, obviously now it's just Zulu dominated.
Okay. In the meantime, we've heard from Eminem leader Jacinta Ngobi-Zuma as of last week. She's been quite emphatic that Durban's eThekwini municipality has barred the movement from marching this Tuesday. What is the latest here? What have we heard from the actual city? Is there some sort of ban in place?
What we know from the city is that initially they had a meeting with Jacinta, March leadership actually, and then they agreed that there should be a march, because one of their concern was that the issue is the route of which they'll be marching on tomorrow. We understand that we have thousands of Malawians that are based in drive-in just outside the famous South Coast Casino. There are thousands of foreign nationals, Malawians that are based there, and part of their route included that they would go there march and march. So now the issue then called them. They called them in to say, look, let's discuss this. We are not happy with you going taking this route. Initially, they then eventually changed the route. So what we know from now is that they will be marching from the city center towards South Beach area. They won't be going towards where the Malawians are camping. And however, what we found out is that they also have a further meeting where the metro raises concern that the march was raising serious issues of safety. So what we know for now is that the march will go on tomorrow. Whether the city has agreed or not, we are still waiting. Also, I'm just waiting for finalization from the city to find out what are they saying? Because last time we heard was that they denied access to the city, but marching marchers came out to say, look, we are marching tomorrow, and this is where we are going, and we're not going to go to the drive-in where it is currently camping Malawians.
Yeah, let's talk about those Malawians at the old drive-in grounds in Durban, Sakhiseni. What is the living conditions there? Do we know how many in terms of Malawians that are currently camped there that are waiting buses to go home? And I know, as of last week and the week before, there were some issues with Malawians trying to get over the border with the buses that were supplied, and some of the drivers didn't have the right documents in order for them to get back, and they actually had to come and do a detour all the way through to Gauteng in order for that to happen. So it's been a bit of a mess, eh?
No, it's been over a mess. I mean, for the last couple of weeks, since the Malawians went to Sherwood Park outside Durban, where they decided, no, because they feel unsafe in their various communities, they grouped themselves together and then they went to a park. From there, obviously, it was a certain group of Malawians from one part of Durban. And then within a couple of days, it grew to around Durban. Within a week, we have Malawians coming from all over the province, from Newcastle, South Coast, in Potchefstroom, in the northern side, from Richards Bay. It grew to thousands to a point where the city felt like, you know what, they need to move them into a bigger place. They moved them to a drive-in. Obviously, we understand from now on, from now, we understand about over 13,000 have been repatriated to Malawi, but thousands furthermore still remains inside the old drive-in. What the estimated number we had from Home Affairs was that the up to over 10,000 that are still remaining at the site, and more are still coming in. And it's not only just Malawians. If I can also make that point, we have Zimbabweans that are somewhere in Chatsworth, but they were quickly drove to Zimbabwe. Some of the group also started to camp in Newcastle, in another part of the municipality, but the municipality was against that, and they sent them back to the community. They chased them away, saying that they're not allowed to open a campsite. So it has been a mess, to say. Also, we do have some of the Malawians that are also camping in the municipal building in Pietermaritzburg, which is at a appalling state. The building has fallen, no glasses. There's just it could fall at any time, but if you do have Malawians, thousands of them, in fact, that are also in that building. The conditions inside the old driving is just appalling. It's, at least now at the stage, there's much bigger space, unlike in Sherwood, but still, there are tents. The tents are small. They whenever it's cold, like it has been raining here in Durban over the past couple of weeks, but when it's very cold, you see them lighting up a couple of fires there and there, and they're ending up burning clothes just to keep themselves warm.
Yeah.
It has been, quite a very difficult state, and you can tell that more and more, if more and more people are coming in, it's going to be a serious humanitarian issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there porta potties, and what is being supplied by the state to these people in the interim? Because, like as you just described it, Sakhiseni, it seems as if, more people are coming all the time. I can't imagine, there's enough facilities for everybody. Just looking at some of the pictures that News 24 has been publishing, it just looks like there's just too many people, and there's just probably not enough toilets from my imagination.
Yeah, no, it's quite a few toilets, and also there's this issue of having to separate the males from the females. The women and children must be on the other side, the men must be on the other side. And you look at a toilet. I mean, you can already estimate that maybe one toilet is being used by over 100 people.
Sure.
Because it's just too small. And also the issue of water tankers. We have the city supplying water tankers. And sometimes they use that period to bath, of which some of them are complaining that you can't use the water to bath while you need the water to drink. So it's just a mess. Or others want to drink, or we have other organizations like Give to the Giver. They have been supplying some of the blankets, and also some of the organizations, humanitarian group, have also been supplying food every now and then. In fact, every day are supplying food, and you find that the municipality is there also supplying tents, but obviously from a naked eye you can see that everything that's being done is not enough. Not that whatever is being done by these groups or by the municipality is small, by government is small, but the number of people that are inside there is just increasingly, even though they understand yesterday they repatriated about 1,300 people, but there's no, from a naked eye you cannot see the difference. It just feels like nothing is being done. People are just there. That is only because people are coming in daily with a lot of bags and luggages. And the issue with luggage is not every luggage is get to go through, because obviously now we have to be mindful about the weight, of what the bus can carry. So sometimes some of people end up leaving their belongings behind. Especially in Maritzburg, you find that people left were forced to enter the bus with only just one backpack, not the whole luggage that they've packed and kept from.
In other words, they can only really take personal belongings, if that.
Yes.
They can't take furniture or anything else.
Just to add on that, Graham, we will find that in Chicago, when I visited Chicago, and obviously where one Malawian or Meshach Banda was killed, there were landlords, those people that were owning shacks, and obviously they had a couple of tenants, which are foreign nationals. Obviously, foreign nationals had escaped and ran away. Yeah, and then you find out the people, the landlords approach the police to say, can we have a van? We want to pack everything that belongs to our tenants and take them to where they are. But the police came back and said, look, people are not allowed to bring anything. They're only allowed to bring backpack. So now the tenants find themselves with stuff belonging to the Malawians, the Congolians, or whatever that you're renting. And now the issue of criminality comes in. Obviously, people within the informal settlements know that in this house, in this shack, a foreign national was staying. Obviously, he no longer there. Then the issue of criminality came in, where they were breaking in, stealing things, and stealing things that are belonging to foreign nationals. So we find guys have their TVs, their bed, and everything is
opportunistic.
Being stolen.
Yeah, it's opportunistic criminality, obviously, within the crisis mindset that some of these people probably finding themselves in. Let's quickly go to Jikajo informal settlements. I know we don't have a lot of time left, and I really wanted to touch on this, on the murder of Meshach Banda, following the tail end of a March and March demonstration. Take us to how you understand the events that led to Banda's murder. Take us back to that time, please, if you can.
I was present at the march. So what happened was, after the march, they marched from one of the park to the city center, where they gave out the memorandum. So during the speeches, the March and March leader, Jacinta Ngomese, told the crowd that, look, we have a woman behind us who want to tell us something very important. So the woman, which is unknown at this stage, and but we do have her on camera saying that she went on, and she stood and said that, look, her brother was attacked by a group of foreign nationals, and he died in hospital. So immediately after she said that, he gave the mic back to Jacinta. Of which from there the crowd was just angry, and one of the crowd stood up and said, we are going there, we are visiting them. So much leaders tried to calm them down, to say, look, we mustn't go there. But obviously you can't say that to over 1,000 people. That is how massive the march was, in Pietermaritzburg. So the group then moved from city center towards Jikajo, which is about 1 kilometer away. When they arrived, it was chaos. When they arrived, the group just entered the informal settlement, and then they started to attack foreign nationals. They would ask one question, or who you are, where document. I mean, myself, I'm very much dark in complexion. I also received that very same question. I had to respond in Zulu to keep myself safe, And so
and were you roughed up, Sakhiseni? Would any of these particular guys in the mob physical with you at all?
Also, after they entered the informal settlement, a couple of foreign nationals were being beaten. As a reporter, I was taking a couple of videos. Obviously, I had to steal them, because once if they can see that I'm taking a video, it will be an issue. So one of the guys had been attacked and was running away. As I took my phone to take that video, one of the guys grabbed my phone. I think in attempt to snatch it and have me deleting the video. So I quickly put back my phone in the pocket, and then I resisted everything. They pushed me against the shack, and then they started beating up the shack. So it made a loud banging noise to say, "Give us your phone." I'm talking about almost 20 guys. They were in front of me wanting to take my phone. So I had to resist and say, "Look, I'm also here as a match. I cannot give you my phone. This is my phone, and I don't want to give you my phone." So it escalated to the point where they were pushing me, they were manhandling me until they gave up, because obviously they thought I'm part of the marchers, and say, "Guys, you cannot fight alone." Then they moved. From there, I found my way out, and then I made it to my car where I parked. So it was quite a hostile situation, and I'm just glad that I made it out, only because I was trying to take a video and do my job. Then I ended up in a very with my back against the shack, literally.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're okay, Sakhiseni. From everybody at the News 24 family, thank you so much for bringing us this reporting. A crucial, complex part of this developing story. You obviously came back to meet up with Banda's family to tell their story, but the mob was essentially baying for blood. They went after him and they murdered him, based on what we know, right?
I left around about 4, and Banda, according to the police, was killed around about 5, which is an hour later from when I escaped the mob. So apparently, when I spoke to the family, the baby mama, who, because Banda had a child with this woman, a child is about 4 years old now. So I managed to track her down. It was a very tough situation, of which I managed to did. And then when we spoke, she mentioned that Banda was trying to escape to because there's another formal housing on the other side of the river. So he was trying to escape, and then he was chased by these guys, and they kept saying he must leave the country, and not necessarily accusing him directly of killing the brother of that lady that they spoke on the march, but they were saying that your brothers, meaning every foreign national, killed the brother, so killed that person that they were alleging. So they attacked him, they beat him in the head. He had injuries in his head, according to the girlfriend. He has injuries in his head, in his face, in the neck. So and then when he tried to flee, he just died. He fell into a river, and that's when he actually passed away.
Yeah.
So it was quite a devastating situation, and you can see from her face, that it was. He didn't know. She doesn't know what to do now, because we also made contact with Banda's brother, who was based in Johannesburg. He's saying he was scared to come down to Pietermaritzburg. Obviously, he had to come down to try and resolve the issues of the burial and all of that. So we just have to touch base and find out from the woman and the brother later this week to find out what happened to are they going to repatriate the body? Are they going to bury him this side? What's going to happen on that?
Yeah. Any arrests at this stage in regards?
We understand from the police what we know at the stage that there's still an investigation. There hasn't been any arrest or anyone that has been taken for questioning.
If the state is spending 600 million rand on keeping the peace up and down in Mzansi tomorrow, in the midst of this June 30th deadline, what have we heard since in the run-up to tomorrow's demonstrations about the calls around violence and what's being said and what's not being said in hushed corners? Is there a directive to go, this is going to be a purely peaceful demonstration. We've made our point, and then everybody gets to disperse after that. Or are we, fearful that we could see another Jika Joe, Mishak Banda, incident, which I hope we don't.
I believe everyone hope we don't experience the same Jika Joe incident. But what we're getting from various leaders, including the traditional leaders, the government, the police, and also the leaders themselves of these marches, they are basically just saying, there won't be any violence. Obviously, Jacinta, along with other groups, met with the police and also the premier of the province. And then, obviously, when they came after the meeting, I believe yesterday, they did mention that, there won't be any violence. But you can never be sure. especially considering what happened in Chicago. It was a peaceful march. They've marched from about 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers to city center, but in a snip of 1 minute, it changed to something else.
Yeah.
So you can never really be sure. I don't think they can also be sure that nothing will take place tomorrow. Obviously, there's an element of criminality that might come up, whether foreign nationals will be attacked, tuck shops. We've seen that in different townships when we're driving around Guamashu and other areas here in Durban. Most of the foreign national shops that we all knew were owned by foreign nationals are locked, and I guess that will be the case again tomorrow. And some of the business also in the city center, which even today remained locked. So I guess there will be the same issue tomorrow because of fears that anything can happen.
Yeah. Do we know what happens after June 30th? Is there anything that's said about this deadline coming and going? Because the deadline all along that, as you so rightly say, wasn't initially put in place by Eminem, says, all illegal migrants need to find themselves out of the country, by this particular date, and sort of, put this demand on government that government needs to facilitate this and do something, a lot more stringent in regards to this. And we've already seen so many announcements from the president. Do we know what happens after June 30th?
Based on the information that we got from Jacinta, she said that after tomorrow, they're going to be around 2 of this. So she's saying that, there's no turning back now. This is just a start. If those who did not meet the June 30 deadline and are still in the country, they are still going to, as much and also Mpagalo Mthakathi and Ngizwe are still going to continue, I guess, maybe come up with another date, but we're not sure at this point at the moment. But he had came out and say there's going to be a part 2 of this. They're not stopping. They're going to continue with their call, and in fact now they're going to intensify it than they've done it now.
Okay, whatever that means, we'll just have to see. We can't predict the future. Sakhiseni Nxumalo, Nkosi kakhulu ngiyabonga Kielaboa. Have a fantastic day. Good luck with preparations for this Tuesday. Stay safe out there. Thank you so much for bringing us absolutely top tier credible news reporting to the News 24 desk. Your stuff out there is absolutely fantastic. All the pictures you take. Stay safe, and we'll touch base again soon. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me today, Graham.
Absolutely, Sakhiseni. Cheers, bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Trending topic.
In our trending topic this hour, senior SAPS crime intelligence official Feroz Khan has survived an apparent attempt on his life. But News 24 understands the vehicle the Major General was travelling in through Houghton late Sunday night when he came under fire bore no signs of bullet holes. And a mysterious handwritten note was found at the scene. Khan was reportedly shot in the abdomen just after meeting with his lawyers ahead of a scheduled appearance before the Madlanga Commission later this week. We also understand Khan had to undergo surgery and is now in a stable condition in hospital. Khan's lawyers also dispelled speculation that his client may have staged the shooting to avoid appearing before the commission. News 24 has since seen a police report which details how the yellow handwritten note reveals that the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, otherwise known as IDAC, should investigate 2 individuals, one of them Crime Intelligence Head Dumisani Khumalo, for allegedly defeating the ends of justice. The commission stated that it would make an announcement regarding Khan's scheduled appearance before it very soon.
And finally,
ending off now with On This Day in Essay History. It's courtesy the Essay History online database. And on this very day, the 29th of June 1977, a new apartheid-era opposition coalition was formed, only to turn out to be somewhat of an election flop later in that year. Called the New Republic Party, a meeting of the United Party as well as the Democratic Party, the NRP got off to a rough start as most of the UP's former MPs joined either the anti-apartheid Progressive Federals or the National Party itself. Later in the polls, the NRP only won 10 seats in Parliament that year. It's a far cry from the 40 it once had with the now former UP. By 1988, the opposition coalition was pretty much dissolved after only winning 1 seat in the House. And in Ropey's Pointless Braai Quiz, we asked at the beginning of the show what's the name of the Gqeberha prison in which its wardens recently flagged a chicken coup drug smuggling operation. That is, of course, St. Albans Prison. Correctional Services says its officials uncovered packets of dagga and mandrax in their surprise raid in the part of the prison that houses the inmates' poultry project. No one's been cuffed as yet, but foul play is most definitely afoot. Well, if that was your answer all along, congrats. You win nothing. Perhaps maybe just the, priceless prize of being the most informed person around the bride place. And that's pretty priceless indeed. Thanks so much for tuning into The Lead. Okay, we haven't had an episode for quite a while now. That's largely because I've been busy with our other flagship bulletin, News 24's Unread, which is now broadcasting every Thursday and Sunday mornings on our YouTube page for News 24. You can expect The Lead to chug along in future, maybe once or twice during the course of the week. We will have episodes as we deep dive into the journalism that we undertake right here at News 24. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name's Graham Robenheimer, and as long as there's trusted news first, we'll have The Lead on News 24.